Okay, so a few things about this list here. Um, I have been trying to build a collected company Oculus deck for a long time. I've talked about this on stream, how I've kind of had this vision for a Simic collected company Oculus deck, where I'm trying to play like Wan Shitong. I'm trying to play Tamiyo to like minus buyback collected company, make a mana, replay collected company. And I'm trying maybe play Badger Bowl Cub to accelerate. Every time I tried to build that deck, I found that there was like a severe lack of good creatures to Coco into. Like Tomio and Oculus kind of fit that plan well, but honestly, like Juan, Cub, Endurance a lot of times got in the deck as like the main deck as like filler. Sometimes I had Harbinger in the main deck, which was like okay and not that good in the metagame. So I've been stuck on that for like a really long time. And so I shelved this idea for a bit, and I had also sort of like you may have noticed this week. I have like a distinct focus right now on older cards. I'm having a lot of fun. Like before one with Vidalcan Shackles, I had a good off-stream experience with Upheaval and a bad on-stream experience with Upheaval. But I'm just kind of interested in sort of reintegrating these cards into my deck builder brain. A lot of these kind of things, they just I haven't played with them in so long, and I just am kind of forgetting, or I don't know exactly how they fit into the world anymore. And like Collected Company, I think is a good example of this. Like you get like creatures are getting stronger. Creatures are getting stronger. This puts two of them in play for 4 mana. In theory, it should be a card that's like scaling up over time. Although maybe in a lot of ways it's been replaced by Birthing Ritual, but these two cards do kind of like playing the same kinds of things. Maybe you can play them together. And so I just kind of got over myself a little bit. I got over this Simic vision, and I decided, what if we just play the good cards? Especially since we've played so many like green white based Birthing Ritual decks. What if we just instead uh what if we just played the good cards. Coco, Guide and Pride are very good to hit off Collected Company because they really are worth like at least 2 mana each, but they cost 1 mana. And hitting Ranger-Captain is a really nice way to slow your opponent down. Aang has also been like a good card in these shells that I'm really happy to get to play. It's been testing really well. I think this is a build that wants to like um have a little bit of that extra interaction. The prides also let you flip the Aang. I just really like this card quite a bit. Yeah, Skyclip's kind of tough on the mana curve. Like you could maybe play an 11 drop. We also have the Haliyas, which are like they're kind of like ones and they're kind of like threes, and I kind of count them as twos. They're like a good way for you to bridge on your birthing rituals into here, and they're also like good to Coco into. So like it's just kind of tough to play more like 3 drops, which is why we're like really in on ending for mana curve considerations. I'm really in on a very fetch land heavy mana base. One, because Bant mana is pretty bad, and fetch lands are also really good because they can surveil. But also because I think I want to be in on Harbinger as like a big part of my sideboard plan, which requires a lot of fetch lands. But I guess we could just get in there. I'm having a lot of fun. Um, Trying to reintegrate these cards into my brain a little bit. We're having some success and some failures, and I think that this is a good exercise. I think this is a good exercise. Good. Keeping this on the draw against a mulligan in the blind. The mulligan makes me more likely to want to keep a prismatic ending hand like this. I think I am going to click the keep button. Do you select the mirror flash in the meta? Not really. I think it's like it's not great against Boros. It's not great against Prowess. It's not great against Affinity, and those are a big chunk of the meta at the moment. I don't think the mirror flash is awful, but I just don't think it's like well positioned either. So there's some kind of Mox Opal shell. Yeah, I agree. I think the backup deck's cool. It's at least not a Solitude Ephemerate or Zov build. I mean, I liked it's we're over since we liked Grange Improve Bones, and then we've also been playing Grange Leo. I think it just uh trying an Orzhov build, it makes a lot of sense, and that's what the backup deck is today. I really want to go Ritual Phantom next turn. Can I get away with that, or do I have to Phantom right now? I guess I'm still using my mana well next turn by going Captain 1 drop, so probably should do this. It might just get rebuked either way. Any updates on the Rat King? Well, I'm a little bit giving up on it, although I actually almost had a Rat King deck. Or I might have a Rat King deck after all. Um, so the Orzhov deck that turned into the Grange Emperor deck ended up being, wait, they're Galvanic Blasting instead of making a construct? I guess because of the birthing ritual. I think we'll take that. And they don't have a basic. Thank you for the 3-for-1. Or wait, kill the Saga, Galvanic Blast. Okay, 2. Is that 2? That's 2. That's 2. It's kind of 3 because of the construct, right? I'm gonna count it as 3 as a present to myself. Uchiha with the 47 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Okay, so on the Rat King, before I forget, so if you remember the Dimir Deceit deck, the Dimir Deceit Reanimator deck, that's like kind of like a mid-range. Oh, sorry. Also, I forgot to mention this deck. Another reason for a million fetch lands is just being able to hardcast Oculus easier. Do I want to get Tamiyo here randomly? I think I'll get Guide of Souls. So sorry, I forgot to mention that deck. That's also why we're playing a million fetch lands. Okay, my train of thought is being derailed, and you gotta keep me locked in, chat. Okay, so the other idea behind Rat King is going back to the Dimir Deceit Superior Spider-Man deck, and if you recall on that deck, I liked a lot. I liked a lot, and I didn't like some. But what I didn't like about that deck is that Archon of Cruelty is just not that good against Boros. Atraxa is very good against Boros. Archon of Cruelty is not all that good. But I liked the more mid-rangey Dimir style with like the Reanimator over the top finish in this meta. I think that felt very good. So I was thinking to myself, what if we played Atraxa instead of Archon, and then what if we played Rat King instead of Goryo/Persist? And that way we were just like full mid range, with like reanimation over the top. And then I'm like, this is kind of like a standard deck, and I'm like, but it also sounds pretty good. So I didn't end up finishing building it, but it is. I'm just saying it's possible that is gonna happen. Okay, so I'm bringing in a lot of non-creature spells. So everybody, calm down. When you bring in 6 artifact sorceries, I think you just have to cut the Cocos. I don't like it any more than you do. I don't know. I'm sorry. That's all I can say. And I think you want to go down in Oculus when you cut the Cocos as well, and maybe we can just trim the Tamiyo too. Spider, good to see you with the 2 years. Welcome back. Of course you're here for Bant Coco. Spike, what do you think of Party Thresher? You cast with prepared spells. You cast the spells from exile. You can cast. Oh, that's interesting. That's a good catch. That's a good catch. That is a synergy. I didn't know that you cast them from exile. There's I guess a lot of other synergies with that, like the Boros Pia. Get some 1/1s. Probably not going to be a big thing in Modern. Ooh, wait, hold on. Is it a combo with this card? So you have to exile a creature from your graveyard each time, but then you can make a pest and convoke the pest for another one. That's a cool combo. Great find. Everybody clap for Skirtis. Finding a cool interaction. Please clap. Update the title to you, Sideboard. Bant lies. Do you think there should be more 2-drops to Rich and I? Maybe cut 1 Tamiyo, 1 Haliya for 2 Ajani. So I definitely do have that thought that I would like more 2-drops. In my mind, Haliya is kind of like a 2-drop for the ritual. Ajani kind of sucks, you know what I mean? I think you're kind of coming to the same conclusion I did, that there are just not good 2-drops. So I'm kind of thinking of Haliya as a 2-drop, and then maybe we'll stop thinking about Tamiyo or Haliya that way if that stops making sense. But that's kind of where I'm at. I guess we get a Portico here. I'm gonna keep that one. Which saga do you want to go after? I think I want to go after this one. I don't mind if they Pithing Needle my Misty also. Do I want to Prismatic Ending this construct? I think no. I think I really am interested in getting my Surveil off here. Sad nobody I know has called an Oculus deck 4 eyes. I guess I'll just crack the fetch. I don't want to have to like not get my fetch here. It seems like get the archive here. Graveyard that. So if I chump block with the Phantom, I can go Prismatic Ending plus Oculus next turn. They play an Explosives on 1. Interested in getting this Vexing Bauble out. Now I don't need to chump block to cast the Oculus next turn. So let's not, yeah. Dang, 4 eyes is pretty good. Turbo Goofy, did you see the interaction between the new Boros Owl and Emperor of Bones? Yeah, I don't think it's super interesting necessarily, because like the problem with Emperor of Bones to some extent is that you have to like to exile multiple creatures to reanimate. You got Emperor Bones has to be in play for multiple turns. It has to live. There have to be multiple things to exile. So I think it's cool that this card is like it's very synergistic with Emperor of Bones. Maybe we could play it in like our Mardu deck that we have. Or to the Orzhov deck, we could splash it for Mardu if you were to look in the Mox field for the backup deck today. I think it could weirdly be a good fit there. But overall, I don't think it's that interesting. You know what I mean? It's like it's cool. It's cool, but it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna be a game changer. Well, I'm feeling pretty good about our spot. My opponent has 5 cards in their hands. I guess if they have like double Pinnacle Emissary and 3 0-drops, we die, but that seems unlikely. For what it's worth, I think the bodies on Johnny would be good with Coco and Ritual, but kind of weak on its own. Yeah, I agree. I don't think a Johnny would be like super embarrassing or anything. I think if you were gonna play a 2-drop, you'd choose a Johnny, and I just thought that I liked Haliya more than a Johnny. I couldn't bring myself to cut it, so it's in there. Do you think we'll see more Shackles in 2026? Maybe. I mean, I think it did well. Or at the very least, we had a nice 4-1. I'm open to playing it some more. On the draw against Boros Energy. Kind of the most fun way to play Modern in 2026. Hopefully, don't flip a 1-minute guy for me. They hit a Birthing Ritual, which actually is probably pretty good. Is Mimic the only MDFC you can Coco into? There's like a Mana Dork. Okay, thankfully they don't play the Birthing Ritual, maybe, or maybe I'm like Syphilis. I roll the boulder up the hill every day. The boulder is on the draw against 3 1-drops. So I'm gonna cut the Phantoms. I'm gonna bring in the Rats. I'm gonna bring in the Endurances. I want to keep in the Cocos. I do think Coco's nice. But I've lowered my creature count here. I guess I could maybe trim 1. Trim out Aang. I guess Aang's not that good. We can play 1 Aang. A little low on the hits. I think that's okay. Okay, on the play. Wow, now I have the broken MH3 cards. Thanks, Mia. I think I might lead on the Lush Portico. If my opponent has 1-mana creature and Galvanic Discharge, they're going to be really likely to kill my Guide of Souls on turn 1. I think I have to graveyard this since I have another one stuck in the hand. But if I wait, maybe they'll play their 1-mana creature, and then I get to go Guide Pride and not get my thing removed. Okay, hopefully we could draw something for next turn. No helping hands. Y'all are chat. You need to understand that you do not want to play unearth effects in decks that don't fill up your own graveyard. They're just not good. My opponent has a discharge up, it seems. I guess we cast the Pride. Yeah, then they're gonna kill the guide. So that's 2 cards in my graveyard, and I have no good attacks. If I can surveil into the graveyard, then draw another fetch land, that lets me Oculus. Okay, now I could surveil land to the top and Oculus. I could also jump with Pride. Opponent is a fetch away, or yeah, this is it's a little free. It's a little free. I guess I'm gonna be jumping now. Or sorry, I guess jump attacking. I wonder if they ever sniff out that I've got, I mean, I have an Oculus in the yard. Maybe it's not that hard to smell. I don't know that they really can. I don't know that they really can not block here. Like the restraint is kind of inhuman. Coco is an actual Coco. The card is called Collected Company. But yes, we have 4 in the main deck. We brought in some sorceries, so we trimmed a 1 copy this game. Now, wanting to play a bunch of Oculuses is, I think worthwhile because it is one of the best cards, I think, against Boros. I guess turning a 3/4 is better than turning into a 3/3. Do they have a fetch land for Flage? They do not. And they keep a card on top, which is interesting. And they play a Johnny. Probably flip the Johnny here, right? Okay, they don't even attack. I guess they didn't want to let me flip the Johnny. Let's attack because we have the endurance to like surprise block whatever they Guide of Souls onto. Drawing a land there is pretty bad though. Sorry, Collected Company, you could have been on the top of the deck. Oh god, oh fun. Probably can't win. Top's like a Coco, maybe. Alright, so they're going after my guide, which still has 2 toughness if I flip it. A little bit surprised that they didn't choose to just do 1 damage to the... Okay, now they're targeting this. Okay, it's 4 damage, and so if I flip it still dies, so okay. But I don't know why they're not targeting my Oculus. What's their last card? Now their last card has to be something insane, otherwise I get to keep Abhorrent Oculus and kill their Ajani. If you cast Oculus Primal Prayers, do you still need to exile the 6 cards? I can't remember. I remember I was kind of looking at playing Oculus and Prayers. I think I would think that you wouldn't. I was looking at that this morning, and that like the question didn't even cross my mind. You know what I mean? Like I didn't even think about not being able to. Rather than paying their mana cost. I guess I'm not sure. Because it says as an additional cost you have to exile the 6. I'm not sure if you just always have to do that or what. Well, paid actor, ha ha ha. I don't know how my opponent missed this. You do? Okay. So that probably doesn't work so well. So did not gain 3 life this turn. Get to gain an extra 1 off this though. We get to turn our 2/2 into a 3/3 here. Why not flip the endurance? They're dealing 4 damage to it. And they just have Arena anyways. Okay, well, like Syphilis, I continue to push the boulder up the hill. Don't think the matchup's probably that bad overall, but that's the thing about your Boros matchups. They just have like Ragavan into Guide Pride. they just when they just have it all, and you don't have a Wrath of Skies, it's like, well, thanks for playing. Keeping this on the draw. Spike with Haliya. You do have more infinite life ways with Scurry Oak. The Scurry Oak Rosy Cotton combo is really bad. Those cards are like so embarrassing to put in your deck. I think they're just, especially in this format with like in like the prowess Boros format. It's a tough time to be playing that combo. Oh yeah, I remember Mono Green Stompy being a pretty popular budget deck. Consider Thraben Inspector here because it's good versus Boros with Ritual. So can you expand on the Thraben Inspector is good against Boros thought? All right, chat. I need 5 subs right now, or Collecting Company is going in the graveyard. This is I ran. Sorry. Just kidding. Sorry about that. Don't know where that came from. Okay, okay, 1 from us. Oh no! No! Why did they have to take everything from me? Why do they have to take everything from me? I literally can't scry a Coco to the top without them lantern controlling. Ah, fuck. Shit. Oh, my glasses are stuck in my hair, dude. Why do they take everything from me? How does this even happen? I guess maybe that's because I didn't get enough subs there. Punishing Waterfalls with the gifted sub, thank you. Another tapped Arena of Glory here. Could they have not gotten their mountain, I wonder. Naturals the 24 months. Welcome back. Thank you. So I'm leaning towards Aanging next turn into Phantom plus Ritual. Thraben is a 2-for-1 versus Boros because Rag Pride can't attack through it. I don't know, man. I appreciate the optimism for sure. The one thing about Boros is it's a creature deck that doesn't really care that much about attacking because they have tons of premium removal. They have lots of and they have ways to get flying. Ocelot Pride doesn't care about attacking with Guide of Souls. You have Bombardment of Johnny, so it's like a little creature deck that's like just you don't really win against Boros by playing a bunch of little 1/2s in my experience. You know what I mean? I didn't realize Modern become 20% Boros. Yeah, it's pretty rough, honestly. The quantity of Boros, but there was a Modern article that said Living End is back, so Modern is good now. Obviously, we're still in pretty good shape this game, and my opponent didn't have Guide Pride this time, and we're set up to have a really powerful turn next turn. Maybe some portable holes. We've got 4 portable holes. Or as we sorry, 4 prismatic endings, which are mostly better. If I Aang this, they can just replay it. I think that's okay with me. I think I'm getting Forest. Aang the Phantom. Aang Phantom seems okay. Some random guy on our Modern is adamant Boros is fine and deranged for thinking any deck above 53% win rate and 20% meta share should be chopped down. Yeah, I do think that it feels I don't know. Sometimes formats do just get like this, but I do think a lot of people might just be shocked to hear that almost no deck in Modern's history has ever been more than 20%. I didn't do these numbers, so these numbers might be wrong. And they might be wrong if I had did them, but someone else ran the numbers, and I think they found like 4 other times ever that there was a Modern deck over 20%, and one of those was Eldrazi, where there were like 3 variants of Eldrazi, and so I don't exactly know that one counts. Maybe it does count. But it's like that is like very, very rare for it to get that high. You can draw your own conclusions from that, and you can have your own opinion on what to do about the format. But just know that is an incredibly rare, incredibly high number of play rate, Was Scam not 20%? No, I believe that we saw the highest it ever was 18. Nadu, Hogak, Eldrazi. I don't know that Nadu was actually ever even 20%. I think it probably was never 20%. I don't know that Hogak was either. I can't remember which ones. I can't. Maybe some of them were Nadu Hogak, but yeah, it might have been Jund. I think Jund was one of them. Yeah, Murktide. Murktide was not on those numbers, although I wish it was. I remember we checked that one specifically. We checked Scam specifically, and oh wait, maybe Scam was one of them. I can't remember. So I'm done spreading misinfo. I'm just half regurgitating what was told to me a few weeks ago. Oh, sorry, I meant to cast the one from Exile. Sorry about that. Naughty was never 20% in Moto, wasn't 50% paper. No, it definitely was never 50% in paper. So I guess they just don't have a mountain. Maybe it's in their hand. Okay. If they have a Galvanic Discharge, they could escape Flage this turn. Second Phantom there seemed better than Ritual. Maybe. The Stone Rain's definitely really nice. I mean, getting this... I just kind of felt like the Stone Rain was also going to be good next turn. Naughty was basically tier 0 when it was legal, so its play rate must have been above 20. I promise you it was. I promise you... It may have been above 20. Someone said 50. One thing with Nadu was, like, it was a deck that people knew for sure was going to get banned. And it was a deck people weren't super interested in playing because of the mechanics of playing it. And so, like, that decreased its play rate. It didn't have 20% play rate at the Pro Tour where it was legal. And there weren't, like, many big paper events after that also. So, like, all of that kind of artificially deflates those numbers, right? They hit an Ocelot Pride off the Ragavan here. It's very bad for me. Very frustrating. So I think I'm going to go Guide, Pride, stack Ranger-Captain, play Oculus. Which is a little weird. Maybe I should... I mean, obviously if I hit an Oculus off the Birthing Ritual, I'll have regretted this. And this Phantom is a Stone Rain. I guess I could... Yeah, I guess I'll wait a turn. Kind of hard board to be throwing creatures away. But obviously this was just a disaster hit for the Ragavan. Guess that was evidence double Phantom was better that turn. Evidence is maybe not the word I'd use, but like saying, oh well, if Ragavan hits an Ocelot Pride, this is better. And they also have to have the ability to jump. I don't know. Like if we had hit an Oculus off the Birthing Ritual, then would we be saying the same thing here? I think I'll stack like this, even though usually I stack the other way so I can just get a 1-drop off the token. I think I'm okay to sack Ranger-Captain or Phantom into a 1-drop if that's all I see. Do you think we need the flyer? So I'll go ahead and sack this. Hopefully they don't have another red source for the Flage. Would maybe have been nice to hit another Phantom in this spot. Do they have another Sacred Foundry? They should. They target my Phantom so they can get in with Ragavan and a Pride. Sometimes make the right play and their hand beats it. That's what makes it fun. Yeah, no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what if we did make the right play that turn. Very surprised they think getting in with the cats is good. But I think it was close. I don't know why they would attack with the cats and not the Ranger-Captain also. The Ranger-Captain is like an easy attack here. Not exactly a deck that like punishes you for your mistakes at all. So we're going to take 8 here down to 5. Do you think Reflector Mage is something that SIDEBOARD play? Definitely like 100% not. Aang is pretty good and kind of similar though. It's like so much better. They flip over an Oculus. Can't cast it though. SIDEBOARD if they charge in Pump Captain. Yeah, I'm not sure. I do think that I don't think we were dead, but I do think the captain definitely should have attacked. There's like basically no reason for it to not. Now, are restricting them on mana with phantoms is no longer a plan because of all these treasure tokens. Draw another land for turn, which is bad if you're keeping up. And then I'm not 100% sure. If I'm supposed to, I feel like I'm supposed to jump the guide because I have 2 prides. I get to gain more life if I jump the pride, and I don't have that much life left. Do you have a removal spell as your last card? I'm gonna mental health attack with the pride here. You secretly loathe people that play Boros. You know, there's a lot of things in this world I loathe. Magic the Gathering deck choices is definitely not one of them. Don't know what was taking so long this turn. This is also game 1, and they're down to 14 minutes. So we can put another Oculus in play. We could also put Haliya in play. Yeah, I think it's just got to be another Oculus, right? The extra flying power toughness is so relevant here. So we're going to go up to 18, then we go up to 20 after these. We might even, I need to make sure not to have 6, because if I hit a guide off of the first Oculus, I want to be able to flip it before the other one resolves. All the companies going away. Not that we have that many creatures left in our deck, honestly. But I get to yield to end of turn here. They got 2 cards in their hand. Kind of seemed like one of them was a spell, but I mean, they didn't play anything, so I guess it really can't be. They play a Marsh Flats. They play a spell. It's a Seasoned Pyromancer. That's one of the best possible cards they could have. Although, it's not very good if the next 2 cards are bad. So, probably going to fly the Flage, but then I can double block with the eyeballs. So, fly the Flage and kill my Guide of Souls, I would guess. Not attacking with anything else is interesting. They kill my Pride, which I think is... I don't know, maybe it's correct. Because like they stole one of my prides with Ragavan. Maybe it is weirdly correct. Let's get our double block off. So we trade an eyeball for Flage. Then they crack their fetch. Surveil, probably. They keep a card on top, 2 cards in their hand here, and then they don't play another spell. The life totals continue to spiral out of control here. I think at this, I don't think I want another ritual. Maybe that's bad. I don't have that much juice left in the deck. I have like 1 Oculus. I have 3 Guide of Souls. I've got 1 Aang. Aang would be pretty good here, but yeah, Prismatic Ending's a pretty good draw. Getting the guide off the field is, I think, a huge deal. And then, do I want to offer the trade of a Pride for a Pride? Yes, I do, I believe. I think I'll also play I have 1 more Surveil. I guess I leave the Oculus back, though, to block whatever they fly. Although I guess it's pretty bad if they fly this. I mean, but maybe they'll take the trade. I'm hoping I can hit it in Aang, flip it, and then flip it again. They snap off the block, and then they unsnap. And they resnap. They were wise to fly this one, I guess, so this could go to the yard. All right. Tamiyo's interesting. There is a collected company in my yard. Maybe a little late for that. I do think winning this match at this point we're pretty likely to do. I think we're pretty likely to win this match. Maybe not this game, but my opponent has 11 minutes on the clock. And like I don't know that this game is ending anytime soon. They play another Surveil land. Then they graveyard an Ocelot Pride, which is an interesting choice. Well, now we're pretty dead. All right, let's keep it moving, I guess. I know I just said the opposite of that, but I'm okay keeping it moving. All right, same sideboard plan, in 3 Endurance, out 3 Phantoms, out 1 Coco, out 1 Ranger-Captain. Or was it the Tamiyo? I think the Tamiyo's not great in this match. Let me play the other Ranger-Captain. They hit the... I think we probably win that game if they don't hit Pride off Ragavan, but they hit it off the Ragavan. I think if they hit maybe not, maybe Ending would have also beaten us there. I don't know if another guide would have beaten us. I can keep this. It's a little bit close, I think, between leading on Lush Portico or Guide of Souls. I think I'm okay to lead on the Portico. Upside of leading on Plains Guide is the ability to just draw land into Ritual. But this maybe is better if they have like Discharge plus creature. Maybe it's better if they don't have a turn 1 creature, I can just go turn 2 Ritual if they hold up Discharge. I think I have to graveyard this. It is really important to draw one of these over the course of the game, but this hand like also does kind of really need to draw a 3rd land. Don't think we can afford to keep like any spell here, basically. So they play a Pride. We do draw the land. That's true. Surveilling this yard does kind of imply you have one in hand. A lot of options for next turn. Is there more people Boros Arsecusen, people placing the best deck? I mean, there's just kind of been a ton of Boros for 2 years. Sometimes not a ton, sometimes a lot instead of a ton, which is a little bit less. And it kind of all blends together for me. All right, I think we're going to hold up the Endurance here. Could be maybe interesting to shuffle Wrath back into the deck. Although just generally targeting their graveyard for Flage is better. What is your win rate against Boros with this deck and overall? I don't know, dude. Maybe just watch the stream. I don't have a number for you. I've played like 5 matches with this deck. Okay, they don't attack even though they had a pretty good attack. I think I will Endurance myself. Just trying to think when the best time to Coco is. I think it's probably fine to main phase. Unless we feel like maybe they have Mana Tithe. Yeah, I guess we can wait for them to crack the Strand. Why not? I guess why not is hitting Ocelot Pride. All right, if they have Mana Tithe, we can complain a bunch. All right, Pride Cap. Okay, I also really hate on Collected Company how they have no before okay. I really feel quite strongly these 2 numbers should be swapped. I guess we should have main phased 1, so I guess we would have been able to jump with the guide. Get another Pride. You ever sack Ranger-Captain here for Goblin Bombardment? They did keep a card on top. Sometimes you just have to take fate into your own hands, you know what I mean? It's a very hard deck to play around. You know what I mean? They target the wrong thing. It's like even in these games where they make so many mistakes, like they didn't attack with the Pride last turn, they didn't target my Guide of Souls here. It's like even in these games where they make a lot of mistakes, it's like it's so hard for them to even get punished. It's like maybe they have a removal spell for the guide. I genuinely don't think they do though. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, I'm wrong. Although they still should have targeted the guide first, maybe. Like what if I have like Ephemerate? Okay, they still target the wrong thing. it's just it just feels like it's so hard for them to get punished for their mistakes. Although maybe we will this game. We have a great turn this turn that we shouldn't have. Waiting until you can untap is weird when you just played Collected Company. Yeah. Well, so on Thraben Charm, they had to play it on my turn because I sacked Ranger-Captain. But so I want this one to resolve last. I guess I want to draw the card first, just so I can maybe have more info on what to cook ritual into. But they should have killed the guide first, because killing the endurance is like whatever. You know what I mean? Is it ever Aang? I don't think so. Yeah, plus 12 minutes. Game 1 was a bit crazy. Not having triple white here is maybe a little awkward at the Ranger-Captain for next turn. So it seems like maybe I did stop the bombardment with the Ranger-Captain last turn. What is the ban if you're going to ban a card from Boros? I think you can make a good argument for Guide of Souls with Johnny or Flage. I don't think you'd really need to ban two of them. I think the deck would still exist if you banned any one of them. But, you know, just the fact that like, all of the different angles they attack from, like, the Guide giving everything flying, so I don't care about blockers, the combo of Guide Pride, Flage Arena for, like, the inevitability of the late game against sweepers, a Johnny Bombardment to not care about, or just to have, like, a deck just that's so full of removal. Is this a good block? I think I like that. It kills the Ragavan, which is not nothing. I think Flage would be a good choice since it hits Blink too. I mean, I mostly just think Jeskai Blink is a good deck for the metagame, maybe, but okay. All right, so we're going to game 3. I think they may be conceding there because they just don't have enough time on the clock. If they banned Ragavan, I'd crash out. Yeah, banning Ragavan's wild. But yeah, I think that hitting any of those would be very good for the format. I don't want to devolve too deep into ban talk. It's kind of tough when you play against these Boros players and you're up 12 minutes. It's like it's hard to stay locked in. Okay, we're on the draw for game 3. We're up 12 minutes on the clock. My opponent has 4 minutes and 45 seconds to win the game. 44, 43. They keep they mulligan to 6. They play a tapped Arena of Glory. So I think we just play the Windswept Heath here. I want to get a Surveil off, and then I also, if you go Guide into Haliya, oh, so I guess that is only 2 life, right? Yeah. Ocelot Pride is enough though. Maybe I'll just take the turn to Prismatic Ending. They did mulligan. Also letting them untap with the voice can get kind of scary. Why not ham the guide so I can surveil? In case they have dashed monkey. I mean, I don't. The reason is so I can surveil. This hand is a little bit clunky and really wants to surveil, I think. You could play the guide this turn, but also waiting on the guide sometimes lets you gain the extra life off the Haliya. Also, you know, against the Flage deck, you don't always just want to be jamming your creatures early. And this is, you know, part of the problem too, is like there's so many angles that like sometimes talking about playing around specific cards is funny because They just attack from so many different angles. All right, let's endurance this turn. But if you can, if you have a reason to wait against Boros, and like especially if they mulligan, sometimes their 3-drop is just Flage, and then they'll just play the 3-drop on like a relatively empty board, and then you'll be able to like play stuff after they play the Flage. But it's just like, you know, this is it's very they have so many different angles of attack. Playing around anything is difficile. Getting Forest is a little bit worse if I draw Ranger-Captain, because I won't have triple white, but they go some Blood Moon in their deck, and I think just being able to get like a Forest and a Plains hero could be really valuable. I have a Thraben Charm. So if I draw a fetch land, I can Oculus. Okay, gonna keep that on top. Then I think I just Prismatic Ending the Ragavan, play Guide of Souls, intend to go next turn fetch land plus Company. So fetch land Haliya into Company. Opponent's got 2 cards. Pre-combat, non-dash Ragavan's weird. Yeah, my opponent's been making a bunch of, you know, little missteps the whole match. I have made up my mind. It will play your Badgerable Cubby for RCQ. Any other suggestions for the list? I don't like Formidable Speaker. I would encourage you to go back to the build that was just like all in on Summoner's Pact, and potential. I would play 2 Nissa, 2 of the 5-mana Nissa. I think that card rules. And I've been kind of wanting to play that deck some more too. It's like of all like the green like creature mana dork combo decks, that deck has always been the best against Boros, but it's still not like super good. All right, if they have Mana Tithe, that's fine. Yeah, let's get Captain and Aang. And any order. I think I'm gonna Aang my own Ranger-Captain here. And then we can get, yeah, I guess we get Guide first, and that matters a ton. Then draw a card off the Haliya. Pretty good draw. Any thoughts on why Meddling Mage never sees much play? Historically, Meddling Mage has been like good against decks like Titan, Ad Nauseam, decks that like are very weak to 1 card being named. And I don't know that there's really any deck that is super soft to like 1 card name anymore. Like Titan is not really weak to it. They just have a lot of different loop-de-doops. I mean, it's not bad against Titan, but it used to just be much better against them. I guess I probably should have attacked with Aang, huh? We're 1 short of flipping the Aang with the Oculus Manifest. Kind of feels like getting Oculus down there may have been better. I mean, you could have Coco'd into Oculus. I think I came here to cast Coco, you know what I mean? I think that's fine. We'll have the Oculus for next turn. Charbelcher. Yeah, even Charbelcher, like the Tamashi Sync, like is really good against Meddling Mage. I do want to play more of the Badgerable Cup deck. That's a deck that like I've liked a lot. I feel like it's pretty close to solved, although maybe I should have it like updated in the Mox field. But I like the build that I ended up not liking Formidable Speaker very much in it. I did end up liking Summoner's Pact a lot. And so I think maybe I would want to play like 3 Summoner's Packs instead of 4. It's like, so like, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know that this is like, is this a stream? Today, Specklings, we're playing not 4 Summoner's Packs like we were before. We're playing 3 Summoner's Packs. Maybe it's I just don't know is that a stream? Like, we spent a lot of time on this archetype. And so, like, I think I would... okay, I did like this card. I did like Mutable Explorer. This card, I think, is good for some of the loops. So if I was going to play this deck again, I would cut 4 Formidable Speakers, and I would play Nissa number 2. I'd play Summoner's Packs 2 and 3. I would look at the sideboard again, and then I would have one more slot, and maybe I would play fourth Lotus Cobra, maybe I would play fourth Summoner's Pact, maybe I'd play third Nissa, something along these lines. But it would be very narrow. And it's like my evaluation of this deck is like, it's not of all the decks like this we've ever played, it's way better against Boros and Prowess, but that's really just because the raw power level is so high and the deck is so sneaky fast and has really consistent turn 3 wins and explosive mana. It's still not like favored against these decks. And so like this is maybe one that if something gets banned out of Boros someday, then maybe we're gonna be taking like a more serious look at it. I think that this might be a spot to get the Tamiyo. I think I'm gonna get the Tamiyo. Halaxor with the 78 months. Welcome back. So we might be setting up for a spot where we can like sack Ranger-Captain and then Coco. They may just be Jeskai Blank. They may be playing something cool though. Hope we don't get Blood Moon this turn. But yeah, I'm pretty set on 3 Tyvars. I'm pretty set on the Black Splash 4 Tyvar. Just it really speeds up the deck a lot and has a lot of cool loop-de-doops. Interesting. Let's. It's pretty slow. Now I'm not really worried about getting. Not really worried about getting. Oh no. Okay, I guess I'm gonna Coco, but I need to get a blue source to go ending plus Tamiyo here. So I can go Guide Pride. I can go Guide Oculus. Let's go Guide Oculus here. And then I could wait until they. I guess I'll probably just sack Ranger-Captain upkeep. But pretty good. Why no Clonebird just because it's not a good Coco hit? Yeah. Maybe it's still worth playing as one of, but it's kind of tough to play a bad Coco hit. We're already cheating a little bit on the number of hits. Although with 12 fetch lands, like the math on Coco does get weird. Oh, I remember one thing from this deck list is like the fatal pushes, they just weren't good against Boros. And there's almost just no sideboard plan you can have for a deck like that. But I ended up feeling like that was a bad plan. The fact that we had to think for a minute if we wanted the 1-drop or the Oculus. I agree that no okay interface. It has definitely it's gotten us before. Well, they have Flame of Anor, and then they thought about killing the Guide of Souls. Yikers. Okay. Fatal pushes bad against Boros. It's bad for that deck's plan against Boros. I did consider Mimic. I ended up feeling like a really, really fetch land heavy mana base was important for the Harbingers in the side and the Oculuses in the main deck and the Collected Company math. And it's also weird on the mana. So I certainly would not think it's a free include, but could be a fine include. So we attack our opponent down to 9. Cool new prepared creature spoiler. This is not the command. This is not the commander set symbol, right? It kind of looks like it to me for some reason, but so it's a 3 mana 3/2 haste, enters prepared, and destroys target non-basic land. Could be interesting with the they hardcast a Riddler here. I can't Tamiyo and Oculus. I guess I just get this going. Probably sacking the upkeep to stop the steel cutting. Any reason to keep the birthing ritual hit from Oculus so you could flip it, or does it only work for creatures? You can only flip creatures. I don't have like any flicker effects. One good use for AI I found is building custom simulators for calculating weird stuff. Average Coco. The stats is really hard. Similar is easy for it to build and run 10,000 times to give you an approximate answer. How often does it just make up an answer? I feel like more and more I just see AI just making up making up a number if it can't do it. I I don't know. I don't know why that is. If they're just like if like they don't have the money or the funding or the resources and they're just like lowering the processing power on stuff. I don't know why it feels like this is just happening more and more. But it does feel like it's happening more and more. Depends on the AI. Trust Claude. Yeah, I believe that it depends. Like most things in life, huh? It depends. I will say I am someone that lately it's like if I just more and more I'm starting to feel like I'm seeing people just try to use AI as an excuse to not think about something, and I feel like that's the maybe the most dangerous thing is our impulse to think about something is going away and just let something else think for us. Not that I'm not saying that that's what's happening here specifically, but I think it could be a good tool. I'm not trying to be too dismissive. Mostly I don't do actual math clock in. Yeah, I have a friend who just got a job at Claude. Although I don't really, I guess I don't know anything more than that. That's been going away since the internet. Maybe. So they draw a card with the Aether Spellbomb to flip the Tamiyo, which makes sense. This deck is pretty cool. They draw two cards actually because they're Riddler. Then they heat the Guide of Souls, also makes sense. So if they have another rebuke for my Oculus, we're going to be pretty cooked. They will have rebuke up even if I like draw a land first for Phantom. Why not attack with the Manifest token plus Guide effect? They just block it with the 4/6 flyer. Alright, so I want to leave Coco in the yard for Tamiyo. Put their Tamiyo to 3 loyalty. I guess they can block with the Might if they wanted to. Like, is it Cutter Tide is actually an okay deck, but nobody's playing it for some weird reason. I feel like I play against it probably like 4 times a week. That's relatively high play rate. Kind of vibe based, I guess. But I think it's pretty good. It's also like pretty inconsistent. Like you kind of just forget about the you always like think about these draws where you have your creatures in, you have your Muxin, you have your Riddler, you have Flame of Fedor. Like you curve well, but you could definitely just draw. You could just draw like if you can flood out super easily because your deck plays too many mana sources. When you're drawing a bunch of cards off Riddler and Flame, a lot of times it's easy to draw like unimpactful cards too. Maybe I should have gone for Ranger-Captain this turn. Yeah, maybe it was Ranger-Captain so I could sack and prevent the replaying of Spellbomb, prevent Steel Cutter trigger. Yeah, I think I defaulted too hard. Probably find a triple block here. I think I'm gonna leave these because they can attack a little bit into Tamiyo. They have 2 cards in their hand. Strict Serenade, huh? Feeling pretty dead. Let's not give up quite yet. Might get info on number of basics too. I think I need to leave back both flyers because of the Aether Spellbomb. Or am I maybe dead to Aether Spellbomb plus Tamiyo minus on Unholy Heat? Then we play another Steel Cutter. Fun game. Ooh, Manamo untap Iberi. I'll let them play this turn. And I'll start thinking about sideboarding. So I do like the Vexing Baubles. And I probably want some Wrath Disguise. Although I might not. If I bring in all these Vexing Baubles, then it's like my Cocos are going to be worse. I think the Cocos are pretty good against them. I don't know. I don't know how good Wrath is against them. Wrath seems like I feel like if I'm not killing just Urza Saga and Moxen, it's a little bit awkward. And maybe like Phantom can handle Urza Saga and Vexing Bauble can handle the 0-drops. Because I have to remember I can't side out too much because of the Coke. If I want to keep the Cocos, I can't bring in too many non-creatures. Although we could trim some Cocos. It cleans up the 3 monks on the board. I mean, it would be very good in this position, right? Where this is a game that we're like really behind in. And sweepers are really good and situations are really behind in. Maybe this is something like how the board would look next game. Maybe this is maybe you don't want to play 3 Wraths. Maybe like you just want to play 1 as like a catch up in these kind of spots. I guess maybe the real question we should be asking is: are we the beatdown in the matchup? Are we the aggro, or are we the control deck? And I feel like this is a really interesting matchup where it could really go either way. I think the first Wrath I'm kind of sold on. I'm a little bit interested in, maybe I should be off the Cocos. I do think they're good in the matchup, but I think I just need too many non-creature spells post board. Makes me kind of sad. I could maybe move away from Prismatic Ending. Prismatic Ending is good against Tamiyo. It sometimes is okay against a Moxen. It's sometimes okay against Harbinger. I kind of feel like I'd maybe would rather have Coco over Ending. Maybe Ending on the draw. What if we do this? Do I ever want like an Endurance? I don't really think so. I think I'm going to play 3 Coco, 2 Wrath Disguise. I think with no endings, second Wrath becomes more important. Remove Steel Cutter. I said Steel Cutter. I said Steel Cutter Tamiyo box. Or I thought it for sure. One day, me and all my chatters will have a neural link connected, and you'll finally be able to understand my train of thought. The best rule I found for Coco decks is for every non-creatures you bring in, you set out 1 Coco. I think that's like a fine rule of thumb. I think in general, you should just be kind of looking at your whole deck list and reassessing every time you make some big changes like this. Although, harder to do in paper, maybe. How's Coco felt compared to Gearhulk? I think it's better than Gearhulk, but Gearhulk lets you play more non-creature spells. It just kind of feels like you have more like busted like enablers than maybe I want to just play another ritual. Like they kind of clearly have a counter spell. Yeah, you know what? Sorry. I probably should just play the ritual first, but surveilling also is going to help me try to either fill up the yard for the Oculus or to be able to like double spell next turn. Although maybe double spelling's tough with only 2 white sources. Coco in a deck with no ramp is interesting, but ramp is bad to hit off Coco. Ramp is also like, I know we all love the card Noble Hierarch. We all yearn for a world where Noble Hierarch is a card that we're happy to put into our modern deck. But boy, that card is embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like there are just like kind of like no good options. They forced the Birthing Ritual. Interesting. After cracking the clue, maybe looking for a different blue card, they pitch another Tamiyo. 5 cards in their hand. Steel Cutter with the possible Rebuke still up. We're not playing around Rebuke very well as is. I think we should just play the Ranger-Captain. A fetch land lets me cast Oculus, but not Oculus plus Phantom, unless I want to like bait into a rebuke, I guess. I could play Phantom main phase 1 and then let them rebuke it and then play Oculus. The force putting the other ritual in the yard is pretty tough here. They legend roll the Mox Opal, they make a Steel Cutter token. If they are out of gas, which seems unlikely because they've been missing land drops, but if they are somehow, they could flip Tamiyo. With Charlotte's Agent in consideration. Agent's a bad hit off of Ritual and Coco. While it's kind of a good card to cast, I think that dynamic makes it not an option here. But I did think about it this morning. So they do flip the Tamiyo, so we might get to resolve something. Although they are representing Rebuke. So let's see what we draw here. Fetch land would be an interesting one. It's not a fetch land. I guess I'm going to play this and feel really bad if it gets rebuked or bolted here. Does resolve. They get a mountain, which is interesting. And we get the chain started. Dork should make things uncounterable like Halfling or they Graveyard of Flame. I guess they don't have a wizard in play. They're looking for lands. Should make things uncounterable like Halfling or produce a token like Goose. Or maybe like could exile stuff from the graveyard too. Play an Aether Spellbomb. Yeah, maybe targeting your own land is good there. Could see that being the case. They plus the Tamiyo again. Don't think I can afford to block. I really need to attack the Tamiyo. Although blocking could be good to cast the Oculus, although not so good to cast the Oculus into Aether Spellbomb. So now I only have one Aang left in the deck to try to dig forward to Tamiyo also. Oh, it only hits creatures. Okay, I thought I could hit Tamiyo. I guess I can hit the front side of Tamiyo. All right, let's wait on the company here. The Aether Spellbomb. Is it time? I think I'm gonna go for it. If they have a counterspell, like it's a little bit weird because maybe we could bait. Like they know I have something. You know what I mean? They know I have something. And so now we even get we're gonna get to draw a card off Haliya because we hit Guide of Souls. We're gaining 3 life here before the draw card trigger resolves, which is kind of fun. Am I gonna get the Pride? Good sequencing usually is to select Ocelot Pride before you select the Fall. By the way, typically you want to Pride before the Fall. I think we upkeep sack the cap. Get another guide.
You know what the keys are?
The keys?
Mm-hmm.
I did not. I just walked yesterday, so I didn't. I didn't drive everywhere. Okay, you know where they are. Okay. Coco's been looking pretty good. Is Phantom just a necessary evil with the Tron in the meta? Seems like meh if you're not flickering otherwise. We are sacking it to Ritual for value, and there's like literally no other creature you can play that's like good to sack to Vout for value, unfortunately. Land will be great. Yes, that's great. So I think I want to go Guide Pride Oculus. Do I maybe want to go Pride Oculus? Yeah, I think we play Pride first. This way, if they have a removal spell for the guide, we know to play a second guide. That makes sense. I think now we go to combat. Although maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's better to go second Birthing Ritual and like play Pride Haliya. Could see that being better. It's probably pretty good. They do have another rebuke up. Not sure. I think this is kind of what my instinct is telling me. Let me know what you do in the spot. How far below the bar is Voice of Resurgence for a 2-drop to sack for value? I think it's pretty not playable. It's not a card. Oh, so maybe now I can play the Pride and I can copy the Serenade token. Yeah, I don't usually like to register Voice of Resurgence on account of it being pretty low power level. It's kind of fun with Ocelot Pride sometimes. It is good if you're birthing ritualing, but you're just not always doing that. So we could grab Tamiyo. Or we could sack Pride into Phantom. It's probably not right. Although that could maybe let me find an Oculus. Okay, just I guess we grab a Pride here. No, maybe I'm just like letting them ultimate the Tamiyo too easily. Such a weird game. Then Holy Heat my Tamiyo, which is maybe the worst target. I don't know. They also don't have Delirium. Is the idea that they're going to minus on Fire Magic? Oh, they just have a Fire Magic in hand. Well, this makes more sense. Do you even lose if they ultimate Tamiyo? Probably. I don't really have many Ranger captains left to like sack, you know. Wrath does not kill Tamiyo. We'll see, I guess. It's a bit of an issue that I'm not probably sacking anything to ritual this turn. The Wrath is definitely going to pretty heavily restrict what they can do. Would be a fun game to win. So they draw 20 cards. Yeah, I'm just like definitely dead this turn. Almost definitely dead, huh? All right, fun match. Cub is kind of ridiculous, I think. Like it's just like a complete rebuild of the deck, and I'll tell you this: it's a version of the deck I've been trying to build for months and failing to build for months. I've been trying to build the Badger Bowl Cub deck for months. Play Rona, sacks for value, off ritual. Well, it does cast Coco kind of well. +1 might, -1 pending. I'm not a huge might fan in the metagame. Ice Fang's pretty bad. Also awkward with like the multiple planes to some extent. It's just like there's just not another good 2-drop besides Phantom. You could play a Johnny. Maybe a Johnny is like 2 a Johnny is just good. It's kind of awkward with Ritual where if you sack a cat, you have to flip on end of turn, you can't activate. Kind of the same problem Tamiyo has with like oh, what's her name? April. Is this 3 out of 5 opponents of Boros? Yeah, earlier today, Spider, you said it's been a while. And I can tell. So -1 Surveil lands. Let's get the Ranger Captain here, I think, over Haliya. I think we get Guide first here. Yeah, sir, what is mutagen, man? Oh, that's the it makes the tokens. That does sound pretty good with Pursuit. Oh, sorry, I need to sack this so they don't gain the life. They can't escape Flage next turn, but the turn that they can escape Flage, I think I'm gonna want to try to have Aang up. Do I just cast Oculus or do I go Birthing Ritual plus Guide of Souls? I think just casting Oculus this turn is gonna be better, and then next turn I can go like Guide of Souls plus Aang the Flage. Hopefully, don't graveyard a really good card here. Breeding Pool. Yeah, I remember. I remember thinking that the card is interesting. I never ended up building a deck with it. Maybe I could be open to one Voice of Victory. Voice of Victory we do have Guide and we have Pride, so it's not like completely out of the question. But Voice of Victory with no Ajani and no Bombardment is like a good bit worse. Flage off Coco is decent removal. Our mana can't support it. Well, I've got all good choices, which is a good place to be. I think I beat Flage Escape with Arena next turn if I go Guide, flip Oculus. Like I hit them for 10. I think I'm going to commit to holding up the Aang. I guess I'm also holding up Oculus flip. It is Bant Coco strong deck. Like most things on this stream, it's like a relatively early brew for me. But it's a brew that I'm liking, and I think it's doing some interesting things in the meta game. And maybe you can watch along and try to figure out how good it is, because I'm not really sure yet. How about a Sultai deck that uses Witch's Cottage to put Oculus into play with Coco, Frog, Rumble, Ewit, Unearth 2. So maybe the biggest issue with this this stack of cards you suggested here is how do you have like what are the Sultai creatures you're playing that give you enough creatures to put Collected Company in your deck? I tried for months to find Sultai Simic Shells where Coco was like good, and I had like a lot of like bad looking Psychic Frogs and like Bowmasters that didn't like have like a lot of synergy, and even then I didn't have enough creatures. And this is kind of why you have to be white, is because white has the creatures. They have the good playable creatures in modern. Is Felia unplayable because you can't clear the way? I mean, she's just not that good without Riddler or Overlord. Like you're not doing a very powerful thing. So I guess we just have a lethal next turn. Although, I guess they're not going to double shoot the manifest token. No, that was a freebie. Phyrexian Crusader Coco. Man, I've lost so many games of Phyrexian Crusader against Boros. Like a depressing amount. Alright, here's keeping the sideboard plan. I did think about Lockmare. We've been playing more Lockmare lately, and at the moment, I think Lockmare with no like big mana, like maybe like Badgermole Cub or stupid Enigma Jewel, um, could get there, but like maybe I also liked it in the Aether Vial deck. I guess I kind of have to keep this awful hand on the draw. I was trying to build a Simic version that played Lockmare and Badgermole Cub and Tamiyo and Oculus. I was trying to do that for a long time. And I don't know, maybe I will be able to figure it out, but I have not been able to figure it out yet. So if we can draw a green source, I can go Guide into Ritual, which would be pretty good. Exhibitor pack back Oculus 2 over Endurance. Maybe I just don't have any green mana. Come on, Temple Garden. In my opinion, what would need to be printed for Burn to be comeback strong? The biggest problem for Burn is not like the cards that exist. It's the cards that there are cards that exist that you put in the deck. It's the cards that exist that you are playing against. Like the best deck in the format being a deck with a relatively not so painful mana base, a deck that's playing Guide of Souls, Ocelot Pride, Flage in the main deck, a deck that's also full of cheap removal, and a deck that's also as fast as you are, like as fast as your goldfish. It's like it just is like Boros existing is like, why would you ever play Burn? You know what I mean? Right. This is our third Boros opponent this league. Let's run it back. On the play for game 3. Maybe should have gone to 5. Yeah, I think I said Flage. Yeah, they have like 3 or 4 Flage. It's like I think if you play Burn, you should have you should be playing Flage in Arena. Probably gonna get basic planes, helps against Blood Moon, and then Hedge Maze covers my other colors here. So it's like, it's not like, oh, we just need Fire Blast or Price of Progress and we're so back. It's, there's some big structural issues. Do you think there needs to be more life gain hate printed? I think no, I think I think we could maybe see some announcements. One thing too is prowess is viable in modern for whatever that's worth. It's like you can play that deck. They kept 7. They mulled to 6. It's not a white source, which is a bit awkward, but we can keep. It can maybe let me go like Aang into ritual. They've kept a 1-lander. I think against a 1-lander, I'm pretty interested in just airbending the Pride and then getting it with mine. Remember that Pride and Aang have some good synergy where you can waterbend the flip. Why does everyone want Burn to be good? Do people like playing against Burn? I love playing against Burn. I mean, Burn was like, maybe people forget, it was like not only a tier 1 deck in modern for like 5-6 years, something like that, but it was also I think just a really good way to get into the format. That's a great draw. So I'll be gaining 1 off the Pride, 1 off the Haliya ETB. If I stack the triggers where the Pride trigger resolves before the Haliya draw, I'll get to draw a card for sure, even if I see 6 lands off Birthing Ritual. And like not only was it like a top deck, it was also like really accessible. It was like relatively cheap. It was relatively like I think it was a good intro deck to the format. I think it is the kind of deck that I like seeing supported. Oh, sorry, I should have put the ritual after the Pride. So if I hit guide, I hit another copy of Aang as my only creature. All right, we'll settle and I need to complain about our lack of luck. And it's also like when a deck like Burn is in the format, I love it's kind of like Neoform Tron Affinity, in the sense that it's one of these decks that any deck can have just a good bit of game against. So they have to trade cats to save their Ajani here. Not having triple white is maybe going to cost me this game. Do I maybe want to play Haliya instead of Ranger-Captain? Boarding up the Tamiyo here is pretty awful. I would just definitely get it here to have something to put into play. Aang our Haliya was a line. Was it a good line? I don't know. That was a good line. It was a line for sure. So yes, it's +1 mana. So if we Aang the Haliya, we can play it for 2 mana next turn instead of 3. And then the downside of it is we don't have another Aang in our deck for all our Cocos and Birthing Rituals, which I do think is somewhat relevant. Dude, they have a second Johnny. They messed up though. They targeted me with the bombardment. Dude, every Boros opponent we played today has made like crucial, what would be normally like crucial game-ending mistakes, but Boros is also, it's just so forgiving. It's just, wait, they're just not killing my Ranger Captain. The deck is so forgiving, it's crazy. We're probably gonna win this game now, but still, it's like the deck is so crazy forgiving. It also doesn't cost white mana. Yeah, maybe it was better. I'm not saying it's wrong to have done that. I'm just trying to think out the line. We're probably gonna win this game, but so maybe not so forgiving here. So Dead of Johnny. We are already gaining enough life for Haliya. Do I want to turn Haliya into Endurance? Maybe a little bit. Could turn this Ranger Captain into Endurance also. Yeah, I think if they just kill my Ranger Captain, maybe we could still win this game instead of it being like, and it would be really hard. I think the fact that this comes with 2 energy is going to be my main reason for sacking, maybe. All right, so 3-2. We did beat Boros twice this league, which is a good sign. I do want to play another league with this deck. Let's. I think I'm gonna cut the Tamiyo for a Haywire Might. Again, I'm not a big Haywire Might fan, but